Hello playmates, as Arthur Askey used to say. We're singing songs about bees next. Strangely enough, I have a song about a bee. Anyway, or about bees, the well-bred bees of Wanlockhead. However, that's nothing to do with this. Electricity was introduced into the village of Wanlockhead, Scotland's highest village, round about 1950. And the first thing they did was give us streetlights. Very nice of them, apparently. So this is a wee song about what may or may not have happened when they first proposed to introduce electricity to the village. I'm not saying it did happen, maybe it did, who knows, I wasn't there. So, excuse me, it's called Streetlights. Here we go. Well, word flew round the village like wildfire in the glen. The dark days of the 40s are now coming to an end. They're going to give us streetlights, or so the rumours say. There'll be nice bright lights in the 50s and the years that lie ahead. Well, the villagers were excited, everyone was really pleased. Electricity in this village, man, is just what this village needs. At last some progress were the words on everybody's lips. But one wee guy in a holiday home said, I'm just not having this. You see, I come here for tranquility, cause it's nice and quiet here, and to slum it with the locals for 2 weeks in the year. I know exactly what the locals need, believe me, I know best. They're happy in their slumdom. Slumdom? They don't need streetlights and the rest. Oh man, he thought this is the start of everything I feel. Electricity is fine back home, but we just don't want to hear. They'll be wanting indoor toilets next, hot water from the tap. Well, I'm here to enjoy the backward ways, so I'm just not having that. So he gathered up his acolytes and said, I know what must be done. Put a stop to all this nonsense, do what's best for everyone. Electricity is not for them, it's not something that they'll like, and they're far too thick to use it, so it's up to us to keep them right. So here's the plan of action, it's a protest that we need, and with me who's doing the planning it will obviously succeed. We'll paint our faces white and get dressed up in scarlet robes, and sit in front of the Lanark bus in the middle of the road. So they painted up their faces and put on their scarlet robes, and headed up to the cattle grid and sat down in the road. Their hearts were full of gusto as they sang no progress here, as they waited for the Lanark bus, but that bus did not appear. It seems the big bus driver stopped for lunch at Elven Foot. He had 3 pies in quick succession and some iron brew to boot. All this nosh had made him drowsy, as it obviously would. So he fell asleep and the midday bus turned up at 2:30. But before then, Holiday Home Man had led his followers away, and he cursed that big bus driver and said that driver's gonna pay. His ego running rampant, he thought these folks depend on me. So he led them down to the village shop to implement Plan B. Key change. Their scarlet robes were billowing as they marched on down the hill, a leader and 4 followers with their hearts full of ill will. They'd had enough of progress, didn't want it anymore, and when they reached the village shop, they glued themselves to the door. Now this could have been a hindrance if they had thought the whole thing through. But if you can't get in the front door, there's only one thing left to do. So despite the rampant ravings of that egomaniac, the shoppers just ignored them and used the door round at the back. Well, The acolytes then slipped away as everyone lost heart, as their leader shouted, please don't go, cause this is just the start. These villagers need us to show the error of their ways. As he stood there glued to the shop's front door, and the daylight died away. Well, there are streetlights in the village now and electricity in homes, except for one wee holiday home where an old man sits alone, lit dimly by a candle. He wonders where it all went wrong, but he still believes the villagers will regret it before too long. But the reason for his failure is quite easy to explain. You see, his ego is far too big to fit in his tiny, tiny brain. So, a bit of nonsense. So there we go. No, I'm not saying that did happen, but it might have happened. And maybe it did. Who knows? Before my time, as I say. I would also like to add that I have nothing against holiday homeowners per se. Certainly not up here, it's not an issue. They come up here, they spend money in the pub, they spend money in the shop, keep things ticking over, very nice. And the ones I've met, very nice people, I'm very fond of them in fact. But there's always one. Any small community, an incomer comes in, they either, most of them are happy as Larry to be fair, but you get these nutters who either want to keep things the same, you know, they want to live in Dickensian times for a fortnight. They don't care how you live for the rest of the year, but for these 2 weeks of the year they want to go back in time and change nothing, which is what the song's about. Or they want to change everything. You know, I know you've been doing it this way successfully for ages, but I think you should do it this way, and I suggest you do that, and this is the way, you know the type of people I mean. We have a name for these people, we call them arseholes. And we have one in the village who, strangely enough, manages to combine these two contradictory stances. He doesn't want anything to change, but he wants to change everything his way. Very strange. But as I say, most of them salt of the earth. Really, as I also say, I'm very fond of them. So anyway, thanks very much for listening to Pished FM once more. And I will see you sometime soon. Maybe at a folk club near you. Bye!